up we got. So I make sure I can hear it. The most shocking confession you've ever seen. Mitchell, Blair. Alright, now like I said, y'all wanted some more of these interrogation videos, so we got y'all. The last one I had wasn't really an interrogation video, but it was something. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna start posting more of these. I know y'all like these. So yeah, this is an hour and 42 minutes long, so I'm not gonna react to all of it right now. I'm about to actually play a new scary game I just bought. If y'all want to catch that video, go to my YouTube channel, Almighty CT. Link is in the description. But hey, let's see what it is. How about
static ass and he's a drunk. Now tell the truth on that. Hey, you come see me. For real? You! Everybody wanna know? Yes, I did kill her!
The shocking courtroom clips you just witnessed document the unhinged behavior of Mitchelle Blair.
Yeah, this is a person, menace society, bro. Like, 17 seconds into the video, I'm scared of her, bro.
Take note of her insane outbursts, as you're about to see a different side of her in stark contrast to this public persona that she never wanted to reveal to the public. The following interrogation footage has never been seen before.
All right.
Mitchelle Angela Blair, a 35-year-old mother of 4, appeared to be a dedicated and loving mother to the outside world. But a twist of fate revealed that not only was that a lie, but that she was also hiding an unimaginably disturbing secret in plain sight within her apartment. Mitchelle's lies came crashing down around her when she failed to pay rent for her East Side Detroit apartment.
This bitch would be from where I just. Why, is this the second time this happened now? This is how you know that my city is fucked up. Half the fucking videos you watch now are just always in fucking Michigan. There's always somewhere in Michigan. We just so fucking corrupted and shit. Oh my god. This bitch live on East Side. Okay.
She was eventually served a court-ordered eviction notice. On March 24th, 2015, a crew arrived at her apartment to carry out the eviction, only to find out that Mitchelle wasn't there. So they began moving her things out,
First of all, bro.
eviction notice. On March 24th, 2015, a crew arrived at her apartment to carry out the eviction, only to find out.
Bro, if you living like this, bro, like, please reevaluate your life, bro. It's no reason look how, like, I just bet it's, bro, think about how stanky it is. I just bet it's stank in there, bro. Like, it's probably some, like, feet, ass, rats, bud. Bro, every type of odor in the world. Is that meat? Bro. This is some shit you would see in like a scary game. You know what I'm saying? They show like the old written down house and shit like that. And the house is all fucked up and dirty. This is it, bro. Like, they can take your house and put it on a video game. And they'll match the setting of the scariness. It's no reason your house should like... Bro. This reminds me of the videos I used to watch back in the day. I really can't write to them now is because it's like super copyright. Is the Hoarders, or is it called Hoarders? I think it is called Hoarders. The fucking Hoarders, bro. They niggas do not like cleaning up. Is it called Hoarders or it's something else? Y'all know what I'm trying to say, but the people that be dirty as hell, they literally just be, the house is full of fucking dirt. Them. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Man, it's
out that Mitchelle wasn't there. So they began moving her things out, including all of her furniture. In the living room, where the family spent much of their time together, the moving crew found a large white freezer. When the freezer was opened, to the movers' horror,
did she freeze her kids, bro? Is that what happened?
All of Mitchelle's darkest secrets were exposed.
She froze her
Because
kids.
of this disturbing discovery, they immediately called the police. Mitchelle was eventually found at a neighbor's apartment where she was hiding with 2 of her children, but the other 2, 9-year-old Stephen and 13-year-old Stoney, were nowhere to be seen. Mitchelle was arrested and brought in for questioning, where she shared the horrific story in graphic detail. As she was being led away by police, Mitchelle said to them, "I just want you to know I'm not evil. It was just an evil act."
you commit an evil act, you're considered evil now. Right? If you can commit an evil act, and it's difference between committing an evil act and like, okay, you might say evil act is what, like littering on the ground. You know what I mean? That's an evil act if you want to go there. But it's the difference between killing kids and peeing on the ground. If you go as far as to kill a kid, your own kids, you're evil. There's no way around that. If you just go far to go and rob a bank and kill 5 people, or you're evil, bro. Because you have to have something wrong with you mentally to go and to actually go through with it. You know what I mean? It's the difference if you think of it, you know what I'm saying? Maybe just your thoughts, because you are not your thoughts. So you might think of it just on some mad shit, but you go out and actually do it, bro, you're evil, bro. You're evil.
The following footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney and former criminal prosecutor, a licensed clinical psychologist, and a former licensed professional counselor.
Yeah.
It's important to note that the police department made some redactions to the following footage, but we added context throughout for your viewing. In order to protect the identity of the alleged victim, we will be referring to him as Michelle's youngest son and by the pseudonym Alex throughout this case.
Just water or pop or something? Coffee?
If you guys have any Vaseline, just small bit.
I got no Vaseline.
Just water then.
Just water?
Can I ask you a question? Is any way my aunt could be in here?
Mm-hmm.
She was an ex-police officer. I just want her to hear it from me.
Sure, we're talking to her. That's okay. Just have a seat, okay? We'll be right with you in a second.
An officer uncuffs Mitchelle and offers her water. Both are gestures of goodwill. These gestures are meant to keep her from shutting down and keep her comfortable to get her talking.
Like we say in all these interrogation videos, we already know that these people know what they're doing. You know what I mean? These interrogators literally go to school for this. They literally go to school, I don't know how long, but they know what they're doing. They, step by step, they know how to get you cracked. You know what I mean? So, let's just peep and watch. And see, actually, let's see if I can notice their tactics. I probably won't, though. I'll probably get like a couple of them, but he probably pause it before I even get to say. You know what I mean? So.
Just have a seat right there, I guess.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm going to shut this door.
Mitchelle wears her hood pulled up, perhaps to hide from the situation and feel less exposed. The room is intentionally stark with nothing but a table and chairs. Mitchelle is very soft-spoken and cooperative. It's noteworthy that she was concerned about giving a message to her auntie. Mitchelle seems concerned to ensure that her auntie heard from her first. Mitchelle is left alone in the room for about 20 minutes. She scooted her chair back and moved herself further from the table, suggesting she's trying to distance herself from the interrogation before it's even started. While she waits, her hands touch her stomach, signaling that she may be feeling anxious and is seeking comfort, which is understandable for someone sitting in an interrogation room. She sits extremely still for several minutes, which may indicate that she's very focused and possibly preparing what she's going to say. Although some dismiss body language analysis as pseudoscience, it's used by the FBI and CIA during interrogations. When the CIA is interrogating an individual, they look for clusters of 3 or more indicators that occur in either quick succession or all at once. These indicators can be signs of discomfort or uncertainty in what the individual is stating, rather than indicators of deception. It's extremely important to note that you cannot detect deception through body language analysis alone.
I love you. I love you.
This is the second time she's whispered, "I love you, Alex," which is the name of her youngest son.
Now she's trying to know what she's telling herself in her head is that she's not wrong. That's what she's trying to say. Because this is something that people will do. After you do some shit that's like bad and shit like that, you try to convince yourself that it's not bad. If you have to ever convince yourself that something is something, then it's obviously not it. Because you wouldn't even have to convince yourself. You would just know. You know what I mean? So she's literally trying to convince herself that she's not wrong. Like she said, I'm not evil, just an evil act. That's all a part of the convince game. She's just trying to convince herself. And I love you, Alex. She's basically trying to say, nah, like, yeah, I messed up. I still love you, but I just had to do what I had to do. But I'm not an evil person. I just had to do. You know what I mean? This shit's so damn stupid, bro. Like,
She may be feeling worried about when or if she's going to see him again.
Hello. I'm Officer Diaz. You doing okay? Got some water? Yeah. Okay. Did you eat today? I'm okay. You okay? Okay. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, if you don't mind, okay? Can I ask you one? Sure. My aunt and my kids still here? You know what? I can't answer that right now. But I can find out. As soon as we're done, I'll make sure you know all that information, okay? I just really want to tell my aunt to her face. Because I created a big distance between her and she honestly never did anything but love us. And I created that distance for her so I can hide it. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So she thinks that I'm mad at her and don't love her. I'll make sure you get... Not the case. You just want to make things right. I just want her to know that for her. Okay. Because she loves me so much, she don't have kids. Okay. And to do that to her, and I remember her face. Okay. Let me, I got to take care of this first, okay? And then you could tell me anything you want to take. But I got some administrative things that I got to let you know about, like your constitutional rights.
The officer stops her as she needs to Mirandize her before she implicates herself. And without hearing her Miranda rights, any statement she makes may be inadmissible. The officer has Mitchelle read the Miranda warning out loud to show that she's literate. It's imperative that the officers make it clear that the suspect is Mirandized properly, which means they were both informed of and understood their rights before agreeing to waive them. Despite the police never making it seem this way, you're waiving serious constitutional rights, and the courts take this very seriously, so it must be done properly.
Did you graduate high school? No. Up to what grade of schooling do you have? I want to say 10th, maybe.
The officer is professional, but not particularly friendly. She's a little gruff and serious, but that appears to just be her personality and not intentionally related to the interrogation. The station likely sent a female officer to speak to Mitchelle, as they may have felt that she'd be more open when speaking to another female.
Do you know if my kids' names were released on the news yet? Ma'am, I've been in here, so I don't know. The dad knows. Yeah, and I was trying to keep it. I gave them the number and everything. To who? To their dad. To his dad, you know. Okay, I'm just going to ask you some,
You know what's probably crazy? She probably killed her kids over some dumb shit. Like they was crying too much or some stupid ass shit like that. That's probably why. I swear, bro. In Detroit, bro, it's so much stupid ass shit that happens here, bro. Like, I'm talking about this is on 2015. This is old. Now, I'm talking about nowadays. Like, niggas is killing each other over hamburgers. Literally. A nigga just killed each other. It was at a cookout. This happened, like, last month. But it be multiple of them. So it's like, one happened last month and one happened, like, recently than that. But anyways, the nigga have... bro, this nigga, bro, oh my god. It was on the news, bro. They had... So basically, they was at a cookout. And the nigga, somebody cooked his hot dog wrong. So he shot the nigga. And then, then he barricaded himself in the house with his wife or some shit like that. It's like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Then the SWAT team. That's the first time I ever seen a SWAT team. It'd be a lot of dumbass shit that happened in Detroit. But that was the first time I seen a SWAT team actually come. Like, where do you ever see a SWAT team? Even when somebody like rob a bank, you don't see a SWAT team. Like, it has to be really something serious. So he had held somebody hostage, and that's what happened. They had run a SWAT team, and they had everything was okay after that. But the shit like that, bro. And then another tape, fucking couple weeks ago, motherfucker just randomly woke up in the morning and then walk outside and start shooting niggas. Literally, just walk. Like, y'all think I'm bluffing, bro. Literally, go look it up, bro. Look up Detroit news. I swear to God, bro. I'm not even capping. Y'all probably think this shit is just like a made up fairy, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Like, we can sit here and watch it together. I'm not even lying. A nigga woke up in the morning, walked outside and shot like 6 people. 3 people died and 3 people stay alive. But it's like, bro, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So it's probably some dumb ass shit like this. This is literally probably the same exact shit, bro. The same exact shit. They probably was crying because they didn't have no food because she broke and she fucking froze to death. She threw him in the fucking, like.
Some quick questions just about.
I'm trying to not make this a long video because it's already an hour long. But like, bro,
About you, basically. What's your first name?
Mitchelle. M-I-T.
M-I?
M-I-T-C-H-E-L-L-E.
The officer is getting background information to try to get her used to talking. Once a suspect begins talking, it's harder for them to stop. It's always important to begin with questions that they will be more open to answering instead of jumping right into the facts of the crime.
Right.
This also helps to build rapport. The officer likely has most of this information already, but wants to get more specific details and also wants to get a sense of how candid Mitchelle may be. She may also be trying to ascertain her competency regarding criminal responsibility due to the nature of the crimes and the possibility that Mitchelle has mental illness.
What color is your hair? Can you put your hoodie down?
I don't have any hair.
Okay.
Dark brown.
Okay.
But you just put brown.
Bring your hoodie down. Yeah, just leave it off. Yeah. Are you cold or something?
No, it's just, look at my hair.
You feel like
Just sitting here with my head, you know.
So you said, okay.
I'm just so used to being.
You have any body scars?
I have tattoos.
What's on your chest?
Trust no one.
What's it say?
Trust no one.
What's on your back?
Something ridiculous.
Like what? Is it wording or a picture?
Wording.
What's it say?
I have to tell you.
Yeah.
I just show you. It's ridiculous.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you.
I got this covered up.
Hold on. Wait.
Stephen Barry.
Oh no, bro. Like, what the fuck is going on? Try to make sure I don't fucking get banned on fucking YouTube. Cause what the fuck is this shit? Bro, okay. I'm thinking straight though. She's not putting her damn hands down. So you should be straight. The fuck is this? Okay, alright. Come on. Alright, 8:49, so go back to like 8:45. There you go.
Stephen Barry.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does it say?
Okay.
And
What
my
does it
hair.
say?
What's that one?
Just the kids' names. This is it's for their dad's name, but I cross it out.
Okay.
Asking general questions that are easy to answer may help put Mitchelle at ease before the actual questions relating to why she's here begins. It will also help the interrogator establish Michelle's baseline and observe her behavior when she knows her answers are truthful. This will help her dissect Michelle's responses and body language later and gauge if she is being honest. The officer asks her about her tattoos. What someone permanently inks on their body can be very telling about who the person is. Mitchelle has trust no one tattooed on her chest. This provides a lot of insight into her mindset. I typically don't like to make any definitive conclusions about tattoos because people choose words or phrases for different reasons. But it seems that this type of phrase might be significant. It could indicate that Mitchelle has had a tough past with a limited support system, or she's been betrayed by people close to her that she should have been able to trust. Mitchelle is embarrassed about the tattoo on her back, but still shows it to the officer, which proves she has a respect for authority and will likely continue to be cooperative.
Do you have any amputations?
No.
Do you use any narcotics?
No, what do you mean? Like drinking?
No, like...
Does it... She says Steve Barry's. But does that mean that she's saying... Is it a tattoo of her saying... Because you know people get tattoos like... You know what I mean? Like, you've ever seen somebody get tattooed? Like, they get tattooed... Like, a girl might get tattooed, like, right above her, you know, her stuff. And her tattoo would say, like, Steve's... And it had, like, a arrow. You know what I mean? So is that what she's trying to do? Does she put on her back, though? So it's, like, her, like... Steve Barry... This is Steve Barry's ass. You know what I mean? Is that what it is? I don't know. I'm thinking, she's saying it's ridiculous, and is this a name? It looked like it was more writing or something like that, but I don't fucking know, bro.
Like drugs, illegal drugs.
No. I smoke.
Do you have any amputations?
No.
Do you use any narcotics?
No, what do you mean? Like drinking?
No, like drugs, illegal drugs.
No. I've smoked weed before. I have no idea where he is, his number, or anything. I don't talk to him, and honestly, I don't talk to my mother.
Mitchelle is estranged from her immediate family, which is something that could indicate a problematic personality. or possibly a dysfunctional childhood or family life. It's likely that her support system is limited, which is problematic as she's a single mother with incomplete education, and she likely needs help. The lack of relationship with her parents could also indicate, like the trust no one tattoo implies, that she's been betrayed by the people she should have been able to count on in her life.
I'm not acting.
And how many sons do you have?
One, I had two.
Your daughters?
I had 2 girls and 2 boys.
What's your daughter's name? How old is she?
She's 17.
Does she stay with you?
Yes.
She got a phone number?
No phone. She's here.
Okay.
You know.
You got a boyfriend or spouse?
No.
What's your the father is that your ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
So you have 4 children altogether?
Yeah.
None of them are in school?
No.
Where are your other 2 kids, Stoney and Steven?
At my house. At the old house.
Where in your house are they?
Freezer.
I fucking knew it, bro. I fucking knew it. I mean, it's obviously, though. It's obvious. The motherfucker froze her damn kids, bro. She froze her kids. She froze her kids. She froze her kids. I fucking knew it. Like, I'm trying to remember, have I ever seen this before? Because I do remember, like, it was a point in time where, like, freezing kids was, like, kind of, like, I wouldn't say a trend, but I seen it a lot back in the day. So I'm trying to think, I don't remember ever seeing this case, though. I probably was something, like, I just seen, like, it was, like, big in Detroit, and I just seen it, you know what I mean? But I never really, like, looked into it, type shit, you know what I mean? So, I think I kind of remember it, though. But it's obvious, because they fucking seen it, said, oh, just fucking, freezer, and found a freezer is the deepest, darkest secrets, and, like, bro, it's obvious. She froze her kids. Now, the reason, that's what you gotta figure out. What is the reason you froze her kids? Why did you freeze your kids? For what reason? Is it because they was crying? Is it because they, what? Is no, like, like, give me an actual good excuse unto why you should freeze a person, a human being. What, like, the fuck?
Who put them in there?
Mitchelle lowers her voice, but
That nigga said who put him in there. Yo, that's funny though. Damn, can I go to the damn? What's wrong with my mouse cursor? Bro, she said who put him in there. That is funny. Why did she ask that question?
Where in your house are they?
Oh my god, bro.
Freezer.
Who put them in there?
Mitchelle lowers her voice but bluntly answers. Her lowered tone indicates shame, but she says this with no real emotion otherwise.
Freezer.
She's forthcoming and appears to be willing to tell the truth right away, which is somewhat unusual in interrogations. Instead of blaming anyone else for putting the children in the freezer, she's taken responsibility for that part of the crime right away. When the moving crew first opened the freezer, they found a teenage girl's frozen body inside. She was completely naked and covered in frost except for a large black plastic bag that was placed over her. Her head was pressed against the inner side of the freezer wall, where there were bloodstains next to her face. A long piece of black fabric, possibly a silk scarf, was still fastened around her neck, and there were notable injuries to her throat, her right cheek, right brow, her bicep, and her chest. Under the girl were several blankets, but because her body was frozen to the side of the freezer, only a portion of the blankets could be cut away. But the police were able to cut a hole, which revealed another frozen body hidden under the first. This one, a preteen boy. Neither body was able to be removed from the freezer, and instead, the entire thing was sent to the Wayne County Medical Examiner.
Why did you do that?
Because they were.
Because they were assaulting Alex. Who was Alex?
Along with the other thing.
When you say they, who are you referring to?
Mitchelle alleges that two of her children, Stephen and Stoney, were inappropriately touching and assaulting her youngest son, Alex. It's important to note that none of Mitchelle's claims about Stephen and Stoney have ever been substantiated, and her allegations could certainly all be fabricated. If this is true, this behavior is extremely disturbing, and why her older kids would do this to their sibling would need to be explored. Behavior like this shows signs of extreme trauma, mental illness, or as behavior that may have been done to them, as kids will often do to others what was done to them. It's extremely rare for children to assault their sibling without them being victims of this kind of abuse themselves, especially when they're this young. Since Mitchelle's report of Alex being abused by his two siblings was never substantiated, this point in the interrogation could really just be the beginning of Mitchelle's fabricated story. A story that she either knows is a lie, or a story that she is convinced herself is true. Maybe Mitchelle is delusional. Maybe this fabricated story has helped her cope all this time with what she did to her own children. Delusions serve many purposes. Oftentimes, it helps the affected person escape a painful reality or cope with fear, guilt, or shame.
And I didn't find out it was going on, but it had been going on for years. Since I was in diapers.
It seems highly unlikely that if this were true, Mitchelle wouldn't be aware of this occurring. The child would have very obvious injuries. In addition, this family all lived together with their mother in a small home, not attending school, and she wasn't working. It would be very difficult for kids to do the alleged actions routinely and for years without her knowledge. Mitchelle is either extremely neglectful, in denial, or not being fully truthful about her awareness of this situation.
How did you become aware that he was getting...
Well, I came home one day. It was basically saying, come look what he's doing. He wasn't doing it by the time I went in the living room. But she said, show mom what you was doing. So he had two little wrestle men.
Mitchelle describes how her son was using the two dolls to show her the inappropriate things his siblings were allegedly doing to him, before moving on to the topic of when this first happened.
When was this?
This was a while ago. This incident didn't just happen.
When you say a while ago, was it a year, 2 years, a month?
Around there.
Around where?
Year or two. I don't know why he acted it out like that. It's just, I don't want nobody to think that anything's wrong with my son. You get what I'm saying? Because there's nothing wrong.
No, nobody's making any judgments. I just want you to tell me what happened. Nobody's passing any judgments.
I know, because like to read it, when they read, they're not going to understand. Like,
no, listen. That's why I want to record exactly what you tell me, okay? So nobody's passing any judgment on your son or on you or anybody, okay? We just want to know what happened, okay?
Okay.
So just feel comfortable telling me what happened. Okay. I want you to make nothing up or think about how it's going to look. I just want you to tell me so we can help you, okay? And we can help your son if he needs it.
The officer tries to ease her concerns about how this will sound, so Mitchelle continues to talk and is as honest as possible. She frames it by saying they want to help her. However, the officer is not there to help Mitchelle. Mitchelle sounds a bit more distressed here. She's more emotional now than at any other point throughout the interrogation so far.
And after he told me, so I had to keep his face, and I said, anybody do that to you? And he said, no. And then he put his head down and he said, yes. I said, who the f***? You know what I mean? I was upstairs. So I went upstairs with and I asked him, was you your brother? Or your effing brother? Was you your brother? And
so you asked somebody did that to him?
Yes. I'm like, why are you playing like that? I told him that's nasty as hell. Why are you playing with that? And I said, did somebody do that to you first? He said, no. And he had his head on and he said, yes. And I asked him who, and he said,
he just said it might happen to somebody else. That's the only reason. Damn. This is pretty, this is getting a little graphic here. This video definitely not getting monetized. So I'm only getting money from this video.
She said no.
I don't give a fuck.
And he had his head on and he said yes. And I asked him who, and he said, I just went straight upstairs with him, well, all three of us. And I'm asking, and he said, no, he's lying. Like, no, I'm not. You know, so I'm looking at the both of them. And I said, what? Because my understanding, you got to understand, I was a lot younger than you. It was like over a year ago. And he had to be quiet about all this time. What? from my understanding, you gotta understand, I was a lot younger than you. It was like over a year ago. And he had to be quiet about all this time. So when he's telling me, he's getting loud, and he's like, yes, he did. Yes, he really did this to you. Why didn't you tell me? Because they said they was going to kill me and beat me up. I told him to tell me the truth before I beat the hell out of him. And he says, well, I on him, but that's it. And then he said, no, it's not. I just remember walking out the room. No, I mean, I remember everything else. I'm just saying, it's like, I couldn't say I wasn't like out of my mind. You understand?
When do you think this was?
Roughly 2 years ago.
What did you do at that point?
I sat on the floor for a while, by the edge of the door, and I just remember I kept going, what the f***? And I told my man, I said, tell me the truth.
You say you went outside and sat on the floor?
No, I went in the hallway. I was in his bedroom when we were talking to him about all this, because that's where he was at. And I just stepped in the hallway between the door and, the threshold, and I sat on the floor. And I'm looking at them like, what the f***? This is your brother, So I asked, are you telling the truth? And the way he was crying, he just wouldn't stop talking. He said, yes, you do. You're in my bed. Look, they did this to him every day, every night.
What did you do after that? Did you take any physical action towards?
Not just yet. And then I just closed the door, and I just kept looking at him. I said, I can't believe you. I took him downstairs because he was telling me more and more stuff, and it was not making sense. It's just, I got through telling me everything. I went back upstairs, and I opened the door because I fully believed him, and I know that's what he had did. He told me things that, after finding out, now it makes sense. You get what I'm saying? It's like certain things, I'm like, what's wrong? Or he crying, or he fell off the bunk bed, and I'm fussing at him, take toys away from him. It's like I'm fussing he didn't even do.
What did you do when you went back upstairs?
I punched him. I just started punching him. I just kept punching him.
At what point did you stop punching him?
Oh, no, that's not how I stopped punching him because he looked up and he said, okay, I'm ready to tell the truth.
After she says that Stephen admitted he was ready to tell the truth, Mitchelle opens up both hands quickly and turns down her mouth. This body language may indicate that she's seeking approval from the detective, or as if she's saying, see, I told you.
I said, this is what you did then? He just said yes. And I punched him again.
Although it's possible that Stephen did abuse Alex, it's also possible that he falsely confessed only to escape the punishment.
Yeah.
It's convenient for Mitchelle to report that she supposedly got a confession out of Stephen because she might believe that this adds validity to her story of the alleged abuse towards Alex.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
How long been in the freezer?
2 years. I want to say 2 years.
You said almost 2 years or 2 years?
I want to say 2 years.
How long?
Yo, so they just not finding out? Oh my god. That's why she said she wasn't talking to her auntie or something like that, or her auntie. To see why, because her auntie was probably trying to see the kid. Her auntie was trying. That's why she said she was loving him a lot. Because her auntie was probably trying to take all the kids out for dinner, or spend time with the kids because she trying to be lovely. You know what I mean? But she was probably saying, nah, we can't, or they got something to do, or just making up excuses. The whole time she killed two of them, so she literally can't, or she gonna find out the secret. I'm gonna give my full opinion on the story after a little bit more. All right, now this video is, I ain't gonna lie, I might watch this whole shit, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Y'all gonna know how long this video is. Y'all just look how long the video is. Y'all see if I watch the whole thing or not. I might though. If you keep getting good like this, I like this.
Been in the freezer.
Also, explore with us. Check out the YouTube channel. Explore with us. No cap.
About a year.
She died when?
On May 25th.
She know exact date.
Of what year? Last year?
It would have to be. I'm just a blur.
This was apparently her daughter, who Mitchelle stated died May 25th, but was unable to recall the year. Mitchelle then said that the other child was killed August 30th, 2012. Despite it all being a blur, she was ultimately able to remember the dates.
Exactly.
It's shocking that no one reported either child missing, and shows the isolation these children must have been living in for no one to notice they were missing for so long.
Thank you.
Mitchelle must have been lying about where they were, or they had very little, if any, interaction with other people.
Wow.
One of her neighbors eventually came forward.
Actually, this is what I wanted to say. So if this is true or whatever like that, you can already tell that the mother is the Detroit female, so she's in the streets, and she's not really she's a single mother on top of that, so it's already hard for her. And now she's raising 4 kids by herself. She probably don't got that much money. She's stressed out. Just think about it. She's stressed. Look at the fucking house, that dirty ass house. You know what I mean? She's stressed out. So it seems like, I think what really happened was she was kind of caught up in her own life. She had kids and shit like that, but she probably didn't really spend time. It wasn't really like a family. I would say that they were just all living there because she had to live with them because that's her kids type shit. But she didn't really talk to them all the time, and you know what I'm saying, make sure they know how her girls feel in, and raising her girls the right way, raising her boys the right way. It wasn't really like that. It was really kind of go to school, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And I felt like that was the reason that this happened, because they had an isolation, and kids is, you know what I mean, I don't know why they would do that shit to they own, you know what I mean, their own siblings. That's I know kids are horny like that, so it would make kind of sense why it would happen, but at the same time it's I'm just trying to figure out it had to be something else in the household that we don't know yet that made them think that it was okay. You know what I mean? It was something that made them think it was okay, and that's the problem. And that comes also with her being in their child's life, because you have to be in your child's life, bro, especially if they going to school and shit like that. You don't know what they going through at school. They could be getting bullied or blah blah, you know, a whole bunch of shit. You got to be in your child's life, bro. You have to. You can't just live your own life and work. I know you have to worry about the bills and shit like that, but you still have to care for your kids. And I feel like that's what happened. She didn't really care for her kids. But that's just my opinion, though. I just think that's my assumption of what happened. It seems pretty right. That's the only way I can give them a logical explanation. Other than that, she's fucking lying or some shit like that. I don't know. But shit, I don't know, bro. Y'all let me know what y'all think, bro.
With investigators, and she
agree?
explained that Mitchelle told her she'd made Stoney and Steven move away to live with their aunt because they'd been doing mean things to Alex, such as taking food away from him. As well, one of Michelle's friends was interviewed by police, and he stated that any time he asked about where Stoney and Steven were, Mitchelle told him that they were upstairs in their room or at an aunt's house. According to Alexander Dorsey, the father of Stoney and Michelle's surviving oldest daughter, when he asked about Stoney, she also gave the same answer.
I just fucking thought about it. Thanks for fucking reminding me. So you mean to tell me, bro? Bro, what the fuck? This nigga, it gotta be the worst. The worst. I'm talking about. It gotta be the worst in the fucking world. This would be the worst dad in the world. This is what I'm talking about. It was some ghetto. This is some ghetto ass shit. I know they probably had kids when they was younger. You know what I'm saying? Some fucking ghetto kids on the fucking block. They had kids when they was fucking 18. They don't know what the fuck they doing with their life. They don't, you know what I mean? They just having sex, raw sex and shit like that. Got her pregnant. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no money. Blah, blah. Here we go. This the story right here. So, this dumbass nigga right here, he don't even care for his kids for real. The nigga, they broke up together and shit. Like, I don't know. I don't know if he got money or something like that. He probably living with off of a girl. He probably a bum. Let's just say he probably a bum. All right. He don't even give a fuck about his kids. So the nigga asks about where his kids is, or 2 kids that he ain't seen in 2 fucking. Bro, you ain't seen your kids in 2 years. What the fuck? You didn't think. Come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. You ain't seen your kids in fucking 2 years, bro. 2 years. You mean to tell me that the same excuse was the same? Like, at some point you would be like, okay, if they over their aunt house, I'm gonna go to their aunt house right now. Where they at? I want to talk to the aunt. You know what I mean? Or I'm about to go. I want to see my kid. Where's my kids? It's your kids. Do you care? Do you give a fuck? Like,
Her that she was living with an aunt. Apparently, these explanations were enough to keep people from asking more questions about where the 2 children were, because no one seemed to realize they were gone.
How did you?
she strangled him. Watch. She choked him.
I can't, like, I was holding him.
She choked him.
After she's asked how Stephen died, but
She black. This is another thing I wanted to say too. She low key kind of like a nigga. Like, I get kind of nigga vibe. Like, she kind of like really masculine. You know what I mean? She's not really like a feminine fucking girl. So and I knew that already from just when she said she walked in there and started punching him. Mothers don't do, like, feminine women don't do that. They don't punch. You know what I mean? They don't do that, bro. They don't do that. So I can get to she's kind of like a nigga. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, we know they fucking strangled her. This is what happened. She started punching this nigga. He's like, okay, I'll give you a confession. And then he said, yeah, I did this, blah, blah, blah. And that only made her more mad. He thought they was going to get her to stop punching him. But the whole time it made her more mad. So she kept punching even harder this time. And then now she probably grabbed his ass and just blacked out and just started strangling his ass. That's what happened.
Michelle's hands go from being open to in tight fists. Generally, the more space between someone's fingers, the more relaxed they are. As someone's stress increases, the fingers instinctively close. Having one's hands balled up as Mitchelle does indicates high stress.
She's holding him.
What caused him to die?
She strangled him.
I didn't ask you what you were doing. I asked you, how did your son...
I don't know. What I'm saying is he died from...
The officer's tone is noticeably harsher when she confronts Mitchelle with the fact that she didn't directly answer the question she was asked. This asserts her authority and control over the interrogation.
From what I inflicted on him, but it wasn't... He didn't die right then. You get what I'm saying?
No.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't tell you specifically what happened inside.
Well, you say you afflicted on him. What did you afflict?
What did you do?
Punching him.
So you say you don't know what caused him to die?
No, I know I did. What I'm saying is, I don't know specifically what was going on in his body. You get what I'm saying? Is there some things that we can... I don't want Lon to know because she'll feel bad and it's not her fault in any way.
It's just me and you talking.
Okay. Well, like I said, my aunt loves us, but after it happened, I called her. She was mad at me because, you know, it's just she wanted me to get my life together, period. Okay? So I called her and I asked her if anything happened, you know, you take the kids. She was like, Angel, you've always leaned on me, which I do, and she's tired, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of kids, that's definitely not. She was saying, just get yourself together, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want her to, like, hear that and think, oh my God, if I wanted to tell her, but I'm like...
What did you want to tell her?
Everything, because, you know, she was a cop. She's the first person I called, and I couldn't even say it to her.
The officer is relatively non-responsive to Mitchelle. She's giving a confession without any hesitation, and therefore the officer just needs to listen and ask follow-up questions. Interrogation techniques so far have not been needed. Most suspects are not this candid about their crimes, and at the very least will try to claim the killing was an accident. The officer's trying to refrain from any reaction to what she's hearing so that Mitchelle doesn't feel judged.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but You still haven't, I asked you the question, how did your son die? Okay, so you did something. I need you to tell me specifically what it was. So you just punched him?
Like, just punching him to keep him at, yes.
The officer tries to get Mitchelle back on track as she's not making much sense and seems to need to be redirected back to the relevant issues.
I mean, what did you do? You punched him?
Basically everywhere. I choked him.
With your hands?
Yes.
Told you. I told you. What I said. What did I
That's
say?
not how he died.
What else did you do?
I'm saying,
So you punched him everywhere, you choked him. What else? I mean, you want to come clean, right? You want to get this off your chest. It's just me and you talking.
What else she do?
Okay, nobody's here to judge you.
Well, she shot
I'm
him.
about to judge, and I know it.
Okay, I predict that she shot him. It's no way she shot him. She probably, bro, imagine she punched this nigga, then choked his ass, and then got a gun and shot his ass. There's no way. Cat. Couldn't be.
It's painful.
There's no way she shot him.
Is it painful to you?
No, it's evil.
It's evil what you did? Is it evil?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're judging yourself.
When the officer sees Mitchelle freeze up, she tries to get her talking again by making it seem like this is just a conversation between the two of them. In reality, it's being recorded and will be shown to judges, lawyers, and jurors if necessary to obtain a conviction. The officer gets her to admit that what she did was evil, to show Mitchelle understands right from wrong. This is a legal requirement to be held criminally accountable for one's actions.
Because I love them.
You love them, okay? But what?
Oh, man. That's how I feel. Like, y'all know. Anybody who know me know about my kids. And it's like, and then turn around, all this time I'm keeping y'all away from everybody else. And it's y'all. It's like amongst yourselves. There's no other outsiders. There's no outsiders that ended up hurting y'all. And that's the one thing I've always been worried about in my life. Because that's what happened to me. That's why I don't talk to my mother. You know? They didn't do anything when shit happened to me.
We're gonna get to that. But I need you to take it off your chest, and I need you to tell me what you did. You told me some stuff, but
Punched them. Like a bathtub, right? Hot water. And I did like this, and I stood him in there.
In the
What the fuck? Yeah, told you she's a nigga, bro. She's a nigga. This bitch is a dyke. She's not a fucking girl. She's a fucking dyke. And there's nothing wrong with dyke. I'm not like trying to like down her shit like that. If you are a dyke or something like that, you watch these videos, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying she was mad, bro. And this is some shit that a nigga would do. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, only a nigga would do some shit like this, be this mad. Like, a girl would not do this. Girl wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Y'all seeing Mr. Ballin stories and shit like that. So, bro, you mean to tell me that this nigga so you was that, bro? You think about how mad you gotta be. This is like the equivalent of you being so mad that you take all this shit, like you try to break your PS5, you take every single cord out the plug, you pick it up, open the window, and throw it. You know how mad you gotta be? Bro, usually when you get mad, you just, and you like punch something, all your anger, and then you done. You know what I mean? If you have to sit here, she already, look, punching his ass, then choke his ass, then, this doesn't stop. What she do? She grabbed his ass, walked him to the damn fucking, hold on, now I think about it. This is probably even worse. No, she was mad, cause, now I think about it. The bathtub water had to fill up. Bro. The bathtub water you know how long it take? It take like 5 minutes for it to fill so you can drown somebody. It takes a minute. So what did she do? She waited? You was that mad?
hot water?
Yeah.
No, did you
got right back out.
Did you run the hot water first and then dump them?
What do you mean?
How?
I grabbed him in the bathroom and I was still talking to him. And then I'm asking him, like, why are you doing? He said, I hate him. And it's, okay. We're just talking about, and I cut the hot water on. And I'm still talking to him, but it's like I'm threatening him.
Oh.
And I didn't plan on doing it, but I did it. It's like, I can't explain it to you.
So you turned the hot water in the bathroom, in the bathtub?
Yes. And if you don't tell me everything and tell me exactly why, and just everything, like what you've been doing.
Did you put him in the bathtub?
I stood him up in there.
You stood him up in there?
Yeah. So his feet got really messed up. There was basically a rotation of that, punching him, just hurting him. He's skinny.
How long did that go for?
In total, after I found out, he was in there 4 or 5 days, and I made him stay in his room. I took him food because I didn't know what to do. So I called my aunt first to see, but I ended up, I guess, checking out, and I didn't tell her. She knew nothing of what was going on.
Mitchelle admits to premeditation and how she harmed and burned her son over a number of days.
Wait, what? She burned her son? Bro, I'm so confused, bro. I'm so confused, bro. I'm confused. Did I miss something, bro? I must have missed something. Okay, so she did something to where her... I was wondering, like, what are you talking about? Yeah, we go. It's so much, bro. There's too much going on. There's too much going on, bro. So she did something to where she put him in the bathtub, and then she put him in the bathtub and do something, and then I guess it was on fire. So then she stood him in there, and now his feet was burning, I guess. I don't know. But
She wasn't acting in the heat of the moment when she was informed about the assault, which makes her guilty of first-degree murder. This admission was only after the detective insisted and kept asking Mitchelle what else she did.
He started telling me everything, He said he said he took his dad away from him. It's just a lot of things. Like, we talked for a very long time, and he just told me a lot of stuff, and I just had to go downstairs.
The stuff that her oldest son told her may have been true. However, it's also quite possible that it was made up and was just his attempt to stop the torture. He may have felt like if he just admitted to his mother what she already suspected and believed was true, that she would stop punishing him. He'd already tried denying the abuse, but that didn't work, so he may have been trying another tactic in the hopes of getting a different result.
How long?
that's what I'm saying. He thought that would tell her, that would get her to stop abusing him, but it only made her madder. She was only madder.
After that incident, does Stephen die? With how long? Okay, so you beat him up the one day, right? And then 5 days go by, you beat him up again?
No, because it's mixing. The hot water was the night before, the afternoon before.
Mm-hmm.
I was around 1 something in the afternoon.
Oh, that's when he might burn. So he don't actually mean that he got fire burned, but he means like she put the hot water. So the shit was hot as hell, and she stood him up in the thing, and the water was going on, and it was super hot. They burned his feet. That's all I understand. Okay, now I get it. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of slow. It's 5 a.m. right now. Literally 5 a.m. So whatever.
So are you telling me, because when I asked you what exactly did you do this?
Basically, that day when I found...
I thought she was about to threaten that. I thought she was about to go crazy. Yo. I was about to, you better watch. Hey, that bitch crazy. Don't be making no subtle gestures like that. Coming closer to me. 6 feet. Hell no, nigga.
It was around 1 something in the afternoon.
5 days go by, you beat him up again?
No, because it's mixing. The hot water was the night before, the afternoon before.
Mm-hmm.
I was around 1 something in the afternoon.
I got at school.
So are you telling me, because when I asked you what exactly did you do this?
Basically, that day when I found out, I messed him up. He was still walking around functioning.
Mm-hmm.
He was just in that room. And then the more and more started telling me throughout the days and everything he remembers since he was eating Cheerios.
The officer gets Mitchelle to admit he passed away after the extensive abuse to show she had ample opportunity to get him help if she regretted her actions, but she chose not to.
Damn.
I've been calling around to see what to do when I asked the police. When I asked the police, when it's two brothers, I put it in the scenario as it's somebody else's situation.
Mm-hmm.
And if one brother was and the other one, can y'all take the little one to jail even though he's a minor?
Why would they take the little one to jail?
Not jail, but like juvenile.
Mm-hmm.
Calling the police suggests that she may have had some conflicting feelings about what she was doing. However, these doubts weren't enough to stop her from continuing. After hearing Mitchelle's hypothetical, the police should have at least come out to investigate the situation and speak to the children. A simple welfare check may have saved their lives. This case shows many flaws in the system. And sadly, this isn't the only example.
Look at this fucking house, bro. Niggas sleeping on the floor, bro. Look at it. Dirty ass house. You know they living in Section 8. What the fuck is this? What is this? The hell is this? They got fucking, like, coat racks. Like, the shit dirty as hell. They probably had roaches in that motherfucker. They lived there, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they living. So, y'all out here, y'all think y'all got problems and shit like that. Y'all going through, bro. Realize that people going through way more worse shit than you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I heard a quote. It was like, you put your problems, to save your problems with a deck of cards. You put your problems out with everybody else's problems. I bet you take your problems back. If everybody put their problems in a big stack of pile, I bet you take your problems back. No cap. No cap, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit out here fucked up, bro. Niggas going through it. You know what I mean? And you might be worried about, oh, if I don't, something. You know what I mean? So.
Of a missed opportunity to save these children's lives. Back in 2005, the Michigan State investigated Mitchelle for allegations of child neglect. At that time, her eldest child would have been around 5. The claims of abuse must have been somewhat substantiated because Mitchelle was referred to counseling, but her children were not removed from her home.
Oh, I'm trying to get a timeline here, because you do these things to him, right? How long do you do these things? You assault him, you put him in the water. How many days go by before he dies?
I want to say no more than a week.
The officer goes back over the entire story Mitchelle is told to solidify her story and make sure it's clear and the timeline is explicit. When things occurred, it's important to show premeditation and to show the long and serious suffering her children endured. Mitchelle sits in silence as the detective continues writing. At this point, she's sitting with her head down. Maybe the emotional exhaustion of the interrogation is starting to really set in.
So you said the first day you punched him several times. The second day you didn't touch him.
No.
But the third?
The second day I was like throwing up and was really, I had been drinking vodka, like from the first day period, and I just.
She was drunk. That's what helped. That's what helped her actions, because she was fucking drunk. 5th of vodka. But the shit fucked up, though. You know what I mean? Like, the shit really real. The shit fucked up. So.
I basically couldn't get up.
You say you was throwing up?
It's like when I get up, maybe I would have went back in there, but...
Did you say you were throwing up?
Yeah, the only reason I didn't go, honestly, the only reason I didn't go back in there the second day, because every time I got up, I'm throwing up, and I'm sick, and I...
But then the third, the fourth, and the fifth day, you continue. The following days, you continue to assault them. Is that correct?
Drinking.
But did you continue?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do? The same thing?
I was going back for just punching him, basically, and choking him.
Typically, when these sorts of horrific crimes occur, the perpetrator is often under the influence or had been using substances close to the time the crime occurred. She also said she was throwing up the second day of the abuse, and the only reason she didn't continue abusing her son the second day is because she was feeling sick.
Yeah, and it was like, this is how it went, like, I'll talk to him for a second, and he'll say something, and I'll start punching him. And I'll stop, and then I'll start talking to him again. And then it's like no answer he gave was.
Who witnessed this?
All the kids.
Stoney.
And who else?
Was downstairs, but she witnessed.
Stoney and...
Yes, well, he was downstairs, but you mean me doing this to Steven?
Yes.
Yeah, she saw me punching him.
Saw you punching him?
Yes, both of everybody. It wasn't the first day though, because I had to.
Look, bro. We're gonna come back. Alright. Like I said, it's 5:30 a.m. right now. And this is too much in my head, bro. I can't go to bed. You know what I mean? Or just subconsciously on my brain. Motherfucking dumbass. Oh, there's so much shit going. Like, I just hope like this low key is a lie, so I don't have to like. I feel like it's true though. That's the funny part, cause the way she explained it, this sounds real. Like, you know what I mean? Like she talked to a nigga, and then he had said something, and she just get mad again. Then she'd calm down, talk to him again about it. He just kept saying he should just start lying. Like, I mean, he probably couldn't lie, cause the nigga would have just said like he. Y'all let me know if y'all want more. I love y'all. We out. We back. Hey, fresh off the wake up. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing this more. Just make a part 2 within the same video. You know what I mean? So the only part is I just wouldn't know if y'all would like to see the rest of the video. But I don't know, whatever. Hey. See right back in 2, honestly. I mean, I only gotta say my intro. You alright? Yeah.
Saw you punching him?
Yes, both of everybody. It wasn't the first day though, because I had told her to go downstairs with the girls. But at one point, yeah, they did. Everybody saw that.
Mitchelle now admits to someone witnessing her assaults on her son, which will be useful to corroborate her admission. If the witness was a minor, she'll also be charged with endangering the welfare of a minor. A child witnessing abuse is extremely damaging to them mentally and emotionally.
At what point do you put Steven in the freezer?
After he died. When I came back in the room, he says, I just throw up.
Say that again?
So when I came back in the room, he says I have to throw up. So I walk him to the bathroom. He didn't throw up, and he says I have to poop. He didn't poop. So I just took him back in the room, and he laid back down. And his breathing was sounded weird. It was just, and I put my hand right here on his chest, and his heartbeat was like, it was crazy. I put my ear up to it, and it was like, he's just like, he's going like this.
So he was faking out?
And I tried to do CPR on him.
At this point right here, you should have literally called the police. Just like they said earlier, she literally had time to get help for this little kid, bro. She abused him in front of other kids. She's going to jail for a long time. I ain't gonna lie.
You tried CPR on him?
I tried.
While he was still alive?
No, when he started looking like that and started doing that.
So did he stop breathing when you tried CPR?
No, he stopped before that.
So he stopped breathing and you tried to do
looking
CPR?
at him and he's going.
Okay.
And I didn't hear it no more. So I'm just looking at him like, oh my God. And then, like, the food I had gave him, I had to feed him, actually. He told me his stomach hurt and he didn't want to eat. And I'm like, you're going to eat, you know. This was the night before. He said, have some pizza or something like that. And I'm like, no. I actually told him, you can't have no pizza. So I've given him a little healthy choice. The smart choice is beef stew. Now, I just know I was trying to do it, and I smelled it. I saw carrots. Is this the beef stew? I saw it.
Interestingly, Mitchelle appears to be especially triggered by remembering the smell of the beef stew. Smell can be an important part of memory. Mitchelle has appeared detached while recalling most of what she did to Stephen, but the sensory experience of this specific memory may have been difficult for her to push away. Her hands reach up toward her face, which is likely an adapter behavior signaling stress.
At that point, he stopped breathing.
Yes. And what did I do?
Yeah.
I closed the door and sat there with him for a while.
So you didn't try to give him CPR, or you did?
Oh, after he was gone, after I'm like, after this happened.
Okay, so he stopped breathing at some point.
Started to get.
Did you ever give him CPR?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how to do it, and I never.
So you never did give him CPR because you don't know CPR.
What do you mean?
You told me that you gave him CPR.
I'm not listening then.
That's what I'm asking. I want you to tell me.
Okay, it's like when I went to blow in his mouth. That's what I'm saying about the soup.
Mm-hmm.
Right on his nose. So I took it as, you are still breathing. So I'm doing like this. And then I...
Nigga, what? She talking about I took it as you are still breathing. What are you talking about? Is he breathing or not? You can literally tell. Did you look at his heartbeat? You know what I mean? I don't think you can breathe without your heartbeat, right? You can't breathe without your heart beating. So did she look at his heartbeat? Did she even see if, like, you can just... Because also if you're breathing, your stomach goes up and down. So did she see that her stomach was going up and down? Like, it's some indicators. She just goes off of what? She smells soup on his fucking nose, so he automatically, you know what I mean? Like...
I heard something, I'm like, that's right. You know, I'm like, get up. He not up. When I'm doing like this, it's making... I can't explain it. It's just making, you know.
The officer is now trying to ascertain whether or not Mitchelle made any efforts at all to save her son's life.
Did you call for medical assistance?
After he died? No. After I stopped trying to do that, I just said yes to Juan. I was just looking at him.
Why not? Why didn't you call for somebody?
I was scared.
How did Stoney die?
My kids. With Stoney, I meant to do it.
Excuse me?
With Stoney, I meant to do it. Like with Stephen, I can't even say it was an accident, but it's not. If somebody dies from what you do to them, then it's that. But Stoney, I did mean to.
Mitchelle admits that with Stephen it was an accident, but she verbalizes awareness that Stephen died because of what she did to him. Her actions show at minimum a complete reckless disregard for his life. She also admits she meant to kill Stoney and therefore has implicated herself for first-degree murder. Once she'd already killed one child and gotten away with it, killing someone else may have felt easier. After she admits that she intended to kill Stoney, Mitchelle looks away and then looks down, putting her hand on her face. This body language likely reflects that she was feeling guilty and didn't want to see the detective's face while she was making this confession.
After you finished holding him, what did you do with Stephen's body?
Just in freezer.
You what?
Put it in freezer.
Her whisper could indicate that she is ashamed of what she did.
Did you do anything? You just put him in the freezer? Did you put some clothes on him? What did you do? You just put him in the freezer as he was?
Well, he had this Paul Frank's blanket that he really like a lot. So I just wrapped.
You wrapped him in what kind of blanket?
It's like Paul Frank. You know the monkey Paul Frank.
Why is she crying? Like, the fuck is you crying for? Now you want to get emotional and shit. Like, come on, bro. Stop the fucking cap, bro. Stop the fucking cap. You know what I'm saying? You and this bitch crying. Oh, I'm not an evil person. Yet you killed your kids. You put them in a freezer. But you're not an evil person. Bro, please stop, bro. Stop, bro. Just stop, bro. Please, bro. Stop.
On kids' clothing or...
That was his favorite blanket?
Because you can't say, oh, she crying. Cause you can't say, oh, she crying because she cared about him a lot. Because if she cared about him a lot, she would have killed him. Like, I don't care how mad you are. I don't care how mad you are. Even if you have a girlfriend. You know what I mean? She break your heart. She cheat on you. You're not gonna just kill her, but you still love her a lot. You just go kill her. Like, that's only psychopaths do that dumbass shit. Like, you understand? Like, what the fuck?
It's like, you know, it's the name Brad has the monkeys on it.
You're gonna try to ask for, not ask for forgiveness, but you're gonna try to get forgiveness and clarity, and you're gonna move on with your life. You're gonna start new beginnings. You're not gonna just sit here and go full berserk and kill them. You're not gonna do that. No one will do that. Because I know somebody out there, y'all watching the video, you got your heart broken by somebody. Somebody cheated on you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Did you think about killing them and put them in the freezer? No, you didn't. You did not. What you probably thought was, damn, that shit fucked up, but I gotta go on with my life. You know what I mean? Like,
on kids' clothing or...
That was his favorite blanket? Paul Frank?
It's like, you know, it's the name Brad has the monkeys on it, and it was a big comforter. It's blue and white with monkeys on it. And, like, I remember he used to argue with them, like, don't touch my blanket, you know what I'm saying? So I just...
Mitchelle becomes tearful now and shows emotion about her wrapping her son in a monkey pattern blanket and freezing his dead body.
Is this their father?
Yes.
Okay.
They got in touch with him.
I don't know. Will you want them to?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let them know.
Is there any way
don't say
you can find out if they got in touch with him yet? Because I know it's on the news.
Do you want? Would that make you feel more comfortable?
Yeah, because they're showing. Well, it's no more comfortable. It's just they're showing the house and.
Yeah, they're getting in contact with them. They're not gonna let them see that. Your other ones. That's what you're worried about.
My kids.
Yeah.
The kids. They were with me.
I know, but they don't know what's going on, do they?
Yes.
They do?
Definitely, yeah.
Why did she even say that? I mean, actually, that's low-key smart, though. She low-key kind of, if she knew what she was doing right there, asking that question, she low-key finessed him. Because now, she just, I don't know what the word is or whatever. I don't know, like, the legal terms. But she just very, put herself in a deeper hole. Because now, that's the one law about the, your kids see abuse and trauma and shit, it's going to affect them. She just said it. So your kids literally watched you or was there when you beat your kids and killed them, put them in a freezer. Your kids was there. Like, she is going to jail.
I mean, their dad, can somebody
they're gonna
tell him before he sees it on news, because he knows my house and I know they were already showing it.
They're doing that now. What did you do to your daughter, Stoney?
Can I tell you what happened with her before?
No, we're going to get to that. I just need to know what you did to her, and then we're going to get back to what she did. Okay?
So I'll tell you what's leading up.
Tell me how you feel more comfortable. If that's how you feel more comfortable, you could tell me like that. But we're going to get to that. I just kind of would rather you answer this question, and then you could tell me what, and then I'm going to ask you what led up to it.
Okay. First, same thing, the very first thing. I punched her so hard because she was still doing that after he told me about Steven. And he said he was so scared of Stoney. I'm like, why wouldn't you tell me this? He said, because she kept saying that, don't say nothing. Or she don't beat me up and all that. Whatever, it's just... So I found out 9 months later that she had been still doing this after Steven.
When did she leave?
One day they were arguing about something, and they came in the room, and he said, don't sit next to me. I said, stop acting like that to her. It's your sister. He was like, oh, I don't want her to sit next to me. She didn't mean to me anyway. And I said, mean how? He was like, she should kick me like this. I'm like, so why you never tell me? Then he started saying my diaper. I don't know. I'm like, what do you know, it started off with Stoney. And he ended up telling me Stoney was doing that to Steven first. See what I'm saying? And I looked at her and I'm like, you sat here. We talked. We all talked to Steven together.
Mitchelle expresses more disdain for her daughter Stoney as she claims she continued to allegedly assault Alex after she killed Steven for doing the same thing. This is why she feels more justified in killing Stoney and freely admits she did so intentionally. It's possible that Mitchelle felt very angry with herself for punishing and killing Steven after she found out that he may have been a victim first himself.
And you ended up telling me Stoney was doing that to Steven first.
It does seem unlikely that if this was true, Steven never admitted that Stoney allegedly abused him during his days of torture.
Wait,
So let me get this straight. So you're saying that when you told you that Stoney used to kick him and said something about his diaper.
Yeah, he
said something about his diaper. How do you get those two things out of? Because I don't see in that.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean?
Told you that Stoney used to kick him.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
said
I
about
need
his
to go
diaper.
into how it came out.
Okay.
Because they did not only just him. They was taking his food. It sounds petty. They blame things on him. But I fussed at him, but it wasn't him. They take his food. Even at school, Steven would get up and go grab his food. I'm like, y'all, I get $700 in snaps every month. Y'all eat. This is like you steal. When you see him in the hallway, you take jabs at him.
The officer asks Mitchelle how exactly Alex told her that Stoney was assaulting him.
Well, he started talking about, say we're sitting on the edge of the bed, and then we're talking. And I looked at Stoney because after it happened, I told them, so if y'all did anything, I will hurt you. And they're like, we wouldn't hurt. You get what I'm saying? So we're sitting there, started talking about his diaper. And I said, when did Stoney kick you? He said, she kicked me and I rolled. I said, as big as you are? He was like, I was little. He's talking about way back.
It's somewhat surprising that Alex recalls what occurred to him when he was still young enough to be in diapers, unless he wore diapers for an extended period of time, which could be the case. There may have been some kind of strain in her relationship with her oldest two children before Alex made claims about being abused.
And he's talking. It's like he felt confident. He's talking, he's telling me everything, and it's like I don't know what to believe. I know he's not lying because he's just going.
Okay.
I'm about to get to it. So when I said rolling, what do you mean rolling? How she roll you? You're big. She kicked the hell out of you like that to make you roll. And he says, I was little. She used to push me over with my cups, and then she took my diaper off. And I said, what do you mean take your diaper off? He said, remember when I had the diapers and you could pull them off right here? She take my diaper off. She touched my butt. And I'm sitting here like, I just remember I felt hot as hell.
Here it seems like Mitchelle is describing how her uncontrolled anger and rage starts to build to a point where she doesn't think, she just reacts. This is typical of people with severe anger management issues. They go into blind rages and do things that they later regret. This moment of getting hot is likely similar to what happened when she harmed Steven prior to his death.
I just remember I felt hot as hell.
Still, this doesn't explain the murders entirely, because we know that with Steven, the abuse went on for days. Blind rages are usually only momentary, and the person eventually comes to and realizes what they're doing. Mitchelle had time to realize.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it take a minute. You can't be that mad, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you get rage on the game. You gonna take every single plug out your game, take every single one out, pick the game up, walk over there, open the window, then throw it out. You only gonna be mad for like what? When you get mad, you're probably mad for like a minute. Like really, really mad for like a minute. Like, don't fuck with me. And then after the minute, it's like, okay, you're calming down. You know what I mean? Unless you keep doing something that's making you more mad. So like, she knew what she was doing, bro. And it was days on days. So you had time to just
what was happening to Steven and either stop the abuse or get medical help for her son. Needless to say, there's definitely plenty of evidence of premeditation here.
And it was like, and Mom, and she did that nasty stuff too. I said, what nasty stuff? And I'm looking at her, and I just walked straight up to her. She said, nasty stuff. And I walked straight up to her, and I did like this, put up against the wall. I said, what the did you do? I looked at her and I said, tell me now.
So you grab her. She's still breathing because you're asking her questions.
Yes.
And then what happens? Do you squeeze tighter where she can't breathe? What do you do?
After he told me that, it was she just slammed her. You know?
So you grabbed harder?
Not grabbed. I just got it. I already had a good grip. So I did like this. You know, you sling somebody down. After he said what he said, I just threw her down. I kicked her. She got up.
Yeah, I wonder. She probably went to jail or some shit. I can already tell. Like she been to the jail, bro. No cap. She had to go to jail or some shit like that. She in this bitch fighting. She's in this bitch literally MMA fighting her kid. Let me write this down. It's a title. She's in here fighting her kids.
Was backing up, and I asked her, oh, have you been doing this to him too? And she was like, yes.
If she was doing that to Steven?
Yes. Did you do this? I'm looking at her, and then that's what kind of f***ed me up, because Steven was always an arm baby. People was like, he hangs on your shoulder. Stoney? She said yes, because he was right here telling everything basically.
Mitchelle admits that she choked Stoney while she confessed to the alleged assault. This makes it hard to judge how reliable the confession is, because she would have been fearful for her life at the time.
At what point do you kill Stoney?
I hit Stoney in the head.
With what?
It's like this little stick.
What was that?
It's like a stick.
Mitchelle takes a few long pauses before responding, which isn't her normal speech pattern. She struggles to say that she hit Stoney on the head, or maybe she hesitated because she was trying to remember what happened. Hitting Stoney in the head with a stick is a felony assault, as she's using a weapon to assault her.
Just a wooden stick?
Yeah, but it's thick, you know what I mean? About this long. So I had in my hand like this. And while I was talking to her, when I'm looking at her, and I was asking me, why did you do it? Tell me the truth. And she just came out. She was like, hurry, Cheryl. I couldn't. So I'm hitting her in her head, and I'm like, he was a baby.
How big was it? About that big?
About this. It was blue. I just started talking for a minute, and she was just quiet over here, and I just turned around and looked at her, and I went back to her. And I punched her again. And I just told her once, I just, same thing.
So he tells you some more stuff, you punch her, and then you tell her to go to her room?
Yes. No, I didn't just punch her once, though. You get what I'm saying? He went on for a while.
Mitchelle offers details that the officer doesn't ask for. This shows that she feels justified about what she did. Instead of minimizing her behavior as most suspects do, she clarifies to let the officer know it was more severe.
She was up in her room for like 2 days. I wouldn't talk to her. After the first day I found out, I did what I did. I go in there and give her food. Then I get pissed at myself that I gave her food, because y'all was stealing food from him every day. That's why he go to sleep hungry and wake up hungry. So
okay, so you give her food.
I stopped giving her so much. So I fed her like twice a day. And I didn't touch her for a while.
Let me ask you this. Did you stop giving her food, period?
What you mean?
Did you starve her?
Basically. It went down from 2 times a day to 1, and it was only oatmeal. Oatmeal and water.
Like Steven, Stoney didn't die in the heat of Mitchelle finding out about the abuse. She was slowly and methodically killed by being repeatedly harmed, starved, and tortured. This evidence shows another premeditated killing.
So you basically starved her, right? Is that how she dies?
No.
Okay. There's more? Tell me more.
Okay, so,
How long does this go on for?
maybe almost 2 weeks. But the hitting wasn't.
Just a starvation?
I
You said
did
just 2
mess
weeks?
her up that first day.
Huh?
I did mess her up bad that first day. She was still walking around, and I don't know if I was functioning, but I take her little food up to her, and I even go up and I sit in the corner and I just talk to her and I look at her like, we talk for a second, like, I just keep saying, how did you do this? And I just talk about all of us and what we were supposed to be like, and I just leave the room.
This again shows Michelle's depravity, because just like with Stephen, she went from talking to these children, which is something that's done when a person is in a more calm and rational mental state, to then inflicting abuse that ultimately killed the children.
This is what I'm trying to get to him, trying to tell her, give me a hug, say, you don't love your brother, you can't tell him that. She says he's retarded.
What the fuck?
He heard her say that. He's retarded. He's annoying. Yeah. And she just went, oh. She cried because I wanted her to give him a hug. And
see, I don't know what, like, cause at the end of the day, the children only act like this because of the parents. So your kids are a reflection of you, my nigga. What the fuck are you doing in the house for them to, act like this? Why does your kids hate each other? Literally hate each other. It's literally, did she say it was 4 kids though? She said one of them is 17. So where's that kid at? Maybe that kid don't live with them. But if it's it's basically a 2v1. The 2 oldest is bullying the younger kid. You know what I mean? And that usually happens. They usually bully the younger kid. The younger kid is the one that gets like the last, but he gets the most treatment because he is a younger kid. So it's kind of like a 50-50. The parents love the kid, but the siblings hate the kid. You know what I mean? Now, she talking about he retarded, and the fact that like this show, if this is true, this shows how much she really did hate him, because she is still saying these things. He's retarded. She was crying because he couldn't give him a hug, and curse. She said curse him, shit like that. Is she saying all that when literally she's getting abused and starved? That means she really hate him. Like, that's like the serial killers, right? And they go to jail and they still say, yeah, I killed him because of this, and I don't really care. Like, that nigga, fuck him, and blah, blah. Like, they say that shit. Like, that shows no remorse for nothing. Like, they really, truly just feel like that no matter what happens to them, without torture. They care. They really care about, they have pure hatred for this person. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Like I said, it's a reflection of her. Because what the fuck are you doing in the house to make them act like this? Like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying?
And she just went, oh. She cried because I wanted her to give him a hug. And I said, you don't love him? And she was like, no.
Damn.
I remember I punched her. And I told her to say it again. She's saying no, like, it hurts you. You hate him that much.
Right.
You don't want to hug him. And
So what did you do when she did that?
the blue pipe.
Excuse me?
The blue pipe, the wood thing.
Uh-huh. Was it a pipe or a stick?
Well, it was, I guess you can, it's a wooden, but I call it a pipe because if you hold it in your
rounded?
hand, yeah, and it's blue.
Where did it come from?
One of the bad parts, like, you know what I mean?
What, was it metal or was it wood?
It's wood.
And it was about a foot long?
Thick.
Okay. Okay, so
she beating these niggas with parts of the fucking bed. So that's how you know how fucked up their house is. Their beds are coming apart. When you see the picture, the one nigga was sleeping on the floor. Bro, they're living in a Section 8 ghetto, bro.
you hit her with that?
Yeah, when I say thick, it was thin, but it was sturdy. That's what I'm saying. Like, it, I hit her with that.
Where did you hit her at?
I hit her in her head.
Yeah.
Mostly in her head. She had
Several times?
a lot, yes.
Damn.
Like, little lumps everywhere.
So she survived that assault?
Yes, and she was She was fine. Not fine, but she was mobile.
Okay, so what happens then? Does she go to her room?
Well, that's, okay, so I'm trying to get to this part, but I'll finish this out. I was looking at her like, what the f***? And I just grabbed her, and I went in the closet. Just got a towel, and just put it right here, and I put ice wrapping it, told her to get in bed and just keep it back. She asked me, could she sit up? So I said, okay.
You said you go in the closet and grab a towel?
Yeah, go in the closet to washcloth, and I put ice in it and put it up here, but it hurt.
Okay.
And she was sleepy, so I let her go to sleep. I know I told her to go to her room, and after I finished helping her with this, I went and drank.
You go drink?
Go sit in the basement. No, I don't
you went to the basement to drink?
Yes.
Mitchelle may be using alcohol to cope with her emotions. She doesn't allege that she has diminished capacity due to her drinking, nor would that be a viable defense, as she can clearly recall details of the days that led to her children's deaths.
You know everything you're doing is what?
Wrong. I know that. And it's like, I can't explain to you. I was in between, like, crying, like, what the you doing? It's your kids. And when I got right back in her face, and I like to, just the fact that you told her, I used to tell my baby, she's not going to save you. You know what I mean? Like, she's not going to save you. So he told me that, I'm telling you, he said, thank you for saving me. He said that, no. I just don't understand why you didn't tell me about her sooner, and that still wouldn't have been happening.
Mitchelle clearly understands right from wrong. This shows her criminal intent, or intention to commit the crime, which is relevant when charging someone with murder.
So what ended up happening?
Smothered.
Smothered. You smothered her?
Yes.
She again exhibits shame by her lowered tone of voice.
Was it that same night? You go to the basement, you drink?
Oh, no. I get like that, no. This was a while later.
Like a day, 2 days later?
No, maybe days, because...
Like how many days?
I don't know. But,
So after a few days go by, right? You just go upstairs and you smother her?
No.
Okay, tell me what?
This is, I want to say after, it's like I didn't touch her again.
For a few days?
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's like we're going on in the second week now, and I'm just sitting in this house now. Conversation here about...
Thank you.
And I smothered her.
Okay, but I want you to walk me through it. So, do you go upstairs and just say, you know what, I'm going to smother her, and you just smother her?
No.
Or do you guys have a conversation?
She was laying on the floor. She was
Where at?
laying on the bed in her room.
Okay.
So I came in and I sat down.
So you go in her room?
Yeah. And I scared her because she was asleep, but I sat down in front of her. So you wake up. She basically wake up and saw my face, and she was like this. And I just kept asking her, are you ready to apologize?
Now, when you asked her if she was ready to apologize, what did she say?
She said, there's nothing wrong with my son. That's all I know.
Nobody's saying nothing's wrong with your son. What did she say, though? When you said, are you ready to apologize to... What did she say?
She doesn't want to apologize to him.
So she said no?
Yeah, but it's like, it wasn't a flat out no. It's like, I am sorry for doing it to somebody, but you're not sorry for doing that to him? This is what I'm saying, like...
What did she say? What did she say?
She just looked at me.
So she didn't say nothing?
Like this. Stoney doesn't do that. She's pretty hard to get answers out of. She's like, and I'm like, Stoney, are you
so she never said
apologize? No. She was saying no a couple days before, and that's what she keeps saying no. So I'm like, are you ready to apologize to him? She just said, I'm sorry for doing it to. How are you not sorry for your brother?
She said she was sorry for doing it to what?
No, I misspoke. Not for doing it. She said, I'm sorry for doing it, period, to somebody. But you're not going to say you're sorry for doing it.
If the whole abuse story is in fact some sort of delusion, and if Mitchelle does have a history of being abused herself, then this scene that Mitchelle is describing almost seems like she's trying to elicit that apology for herself. It's possible that Mitchelle may have been having conflict with Stephen before she murdered him, and possibly also with Stoney when she targeted her. The conflict could have been related to other issues, and this may have triggered Mitchelle to choose Stoney and Stephen as the guilty ones. Since her claims of the abuse towards Alex weren't confirmed, it's important to consider the very likely possibility that Mitchelle wasn't really defending Alex. It's very possible that this tragedy that occurred in Mitchelle's home was the result of long-standing child abuse inflicted by Mitchelle onto her children. When childhood abuse is chronic, and when the parent inflicts severe forms of abuse that cause serious injury to the children, there's a risk of the parent one day going too far. The abuse can easily turn deadly, which seems to be what occurred with Stoney and Stephen. It seems that Stoney's death was more so a direct murder, unlike Stephen, who died as a result of the abuse. Maybe because Mitchelle felt that what Stoney did was worse than what Stephen did. Plus, she later learned that Stephen had been allegedly abused by Stoney, so this caused Mitchelle to see Stephen as a victim like Alex and like herself.
So you punched her?
Yes.
More than once?
It was basically really fast. I punched her. She actually hit me back. You know what I mean? Because I punched her so hard. Well, she reached up and she hit me back, so I slammed her on the ground.
She and this bitch having full-on combat fights with her kids.
And I'm holding like this. She looked up and she was like, I didn't mean to do that. It was like a reflex. And then it's like the part is Stoney always had a problem with fighting. You know what I mean? So it's like I had a whole lot of feelings at once. I don't even think she understands, but like I was actually kind of proud of her for actually hitting back.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. This is a ghetto. What is it called? I want to say ghetto love story, but it's not a love story. A ghetto. Oh my god, bro. What the fuck? Bro. It's no way I just read it. Bro, that is hilarious, bro. You talk about. I mean, I understand though, like, because you don't want them to, you don't want your kids to hit back if somebody like abusing them or something like that. So, but you see how she said that she had a problem with fighting. So she must have been fighting at school. Once again, that goes from what's happening at home. She only getting it from at home, bro. She wouldn't learn that shit. You know what I mean? So, especially she a girl fighting. Girls fighting, that mean that you borderline nigga. Like, girls don't fight, bro. Like, girls fight, obviously they fight. But girls don't just go out and fight like every day or whatever. That's really really nigga thing. You know what I'm saying? So she that much confidence that she out here fighting motherfuckers. You know what, bro? She talking about I was actually kind of proud of her for hitting back. That is hilarious, bro.
So it's like I had a whole lot of feelings at once. I don't even think she understands, but like I was actually kind of proud of her for actually hitting back. Because I've been fighting for them all my life, yo. You got these kids hitting you and doing stuff to you, or try to fight you, and you won't hit back. And I know it sounds up, but I was actually proud of her for actually hitting back.
If this is true, it's very surprising, as most abused kids would be afraid to retaliate in this manner against someone much bigger than they are, and who has control over their basic needs. It's especially surprising given that Stoney already knows her mother is capable of murdering her own child. It appears that violence was not only normalized, but encouraged by Mitchelle.
Exactly.
According to her own report, Stoney hitting back was the moment that Mitchelle smothered her. This is purely speculation, but it's possible that in a way, Mitchelle was relieved that Stoney fought back, because that gave her an excuse to end the days of torture and just kill her.
This was the day. And it just kept going. And her shirt, it's a black shirt. I just picked it up and I put it on her neck. She really fighting back, you know what I'm saying?
When you say put it around her neck, what do you mean? You tied it or you held it? You choked her?
I put it on her neck, and first I was in front of her, but as we tussling, and we both fell, cause I'm heavier, you know, and I'm holding it, but that's still not what did it. And yes, I did tie it because before I got up, I remember I tied it. And she got up too, and of course was backing up from me, trying to get away from me.
You say
she got going. We still in the room, and she gets up. After, yeah, she gets up and was backing away, and I grabbed the bag.
Okay, you grab a bag.
I just.
And you put the bag over her head, or you just put it in her mouth?
No, I held it over her.
You what?
I did both. I didn't put it in her mouth. I held it over her nose. At first, you know how you. And then I put it over her head, heading up there like this.
She expresses very little emotion about doing this to her own child. Mitchelle's reenactment is very useful evidence, as it's even more impactful than just words alone.
Then what? Did she stop breathing at some point?
Yeah, that's what did it. That's what I did to kill her.
Her voice was also very low here, almost whispering.
What do you do with the body? Stoney's body.
Freezer. On top of Steven.
Huh?
Freezer on top of Steven. I didn't wrap her in anything.
Again, she's whispering. This indicates that it's possible she felt more remorse about Steven's death than Stoney's. This is also evident in the way she directly murdered Stoney versus Steven, who she said was not intentional. You'd think that after the trauma of murdering her son, of being reminded of what she did to her son every time she looked at that freezer, she'd be unable to do what she did to her daughter.
Did you show them? Did you show them the body?
Yeah. Not for a while.
How long did it take before you showed?
Not even a week.
She said how long did it take to show Steven or whatever, but if you really think about it, does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, because you really think about it, okay. So you go and you kill her, right? Throw her in the freezer. Alex is wherever Alex is at in the house, all right? Now, Alex already knows where's his older brother at. He hasn't seen him in a minute. You know what I mean? Like, where the fuck did he go? And then now his sister is gone too, because I know he can hear her, like, her screaming and shit. She's probably screaming at her, and Stoney is screaming as well, crying and shit. So I know he hears it in the house, and then he just randomly hears it stop, and then now she's in the freezer. He just put two and two together. He's not stupid. You know what I mean? Hopefully he's not stupid. She said he retarded. Hopefully he's not that dumb. You know what I'm saying? But he figured out on himself. I'm pretty sure. Like, where did his siblings just randomly go out of nowhere? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't hear a door open. I didn't hear nobody. I didn't hear you leave out and come back. Where you can't say that you left him. Like, he knows, bro. He knows.
What was their reaction?
Crying a lot.
Oh, so the older daughter was there. So where she was just there this whole time? Wow.
She's just crying a lot. It was looking like he didn't say nothing. He was just looking at me. And he started crying. I asked him, why you crying? He said, you're going to be in trouble. And I just told him, I know I am.
You tell me you gonna be in trouble.
He told me God didn't like that. He don't like none of that stuff.
Damn.
That was his words. God don't like none of this stuff.
Damn. I told you he's smart. He said you gonna be in trouble. God don't like that. Yeah. Oh my God. That's tough. See, I know my nigga Alex he ain't stupid. My nigga Alex ain't dumb.
I know I am. He told me God didn't like that. He don't like none of that stuff. That was his words. I don't like none of his stuff.
It's surprising how forthcoming Mitchelle has been about killing her 2 children, as the detective has been somewhat standoffish during the interview. The detective has leaned back away from Mitchelle and makes little eye contact as she's writing notes most of the time. Mitchelle has appeared mildly frustrated at times when she feels like the detective isn't understanding what she's trying to say, but she still kept talking. Many other people would not have opened up under these circumstances. It's possible that Mitchelle really wanted to get everything off her chest. She may have wanted to make sure her side of the story was told, especially regarding the alleged abuse of Alex. Showing Alex the dead bodies of his siblings displays her complete disregard for her children who are still living, and an inability to understand how disturbing and extremely traumatic seeing his siblings dead and frozen would be. It's possible that Mitchelle wanted to show Alex that his siblings paid for what she claims they did to him. On top of that, the fact that the freezer was in a main area of their home would have meant there was a constant physical reminder to the living children about what happened to their siblings.
2 years. She said this happened 2 years prior to this. 2 years. Not just now, 2 years. So they was living with dead people, just looking at it.
Now let me ask you this question, because I know we went on to talk about all the different things that they supposedly did.
They did it.
But are you a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're always.
How much time do you say, like,
how much
were you?
How much time do you?
Me up, you know.
No, because I want you to tell me how, because you're pretty much
always with them.
You're always with them. So
yeah.
At what point does this happen that you don't know, have no idea?
That's why I sat there and kept asking them, like, Stephen will do this. If he says, Mom, can we go upstairs and play? We want to play with our toys. And I'm like, no, sit down here and watch movies with us. And he'd be quiet and said, we want to play upstairs, y'all girls. And then came from Stephen. This is to get him upstairs. Then you hear a big ass boom. He's like, what is that? That's Stephen knocking him off the bunk bed, like straight off the top bunk bed. I didn't know all this till after that, but it's like they're brothers. Like it was like, y'all girls, I don't want to watch this movie, or can we play?
How many rooms in your house?
3.
Are you sure?
What do you mean?
How many rooms you got?
Bedrooms?
Yeah.
3.
The detective may be trying to get her to recognize the big hole in her story.
Wait.
When would her older kids have had the opportunity to abuse Alex if Mitchelle was always with them?
Did you, when I told you that, did you ever try to seek any type of help?
No.
Why not?
If I did, I would have to leave them.
Not necessarily.
Right then.
Why would you have to leave them? If somebody's doing something to your child, why would they take your child from you?
Because that's brother and sister. That's brother and sister, and that's in the family, and it's like, that's brother and sister.
So
I could see that.
They would take the offender out, not the innocent party.
But then you look like, how did you let this happen?
Okay,
that was all in my head, like, I want to stay with them as long as I possibly can. I knew this day was going to come.
Do you feel what you did was wrong?
I know it was wrong.
What do you think your punishment
it's wrong
should be?
In the eyes of God, okay?
In your eyes, I'm asking you, not in the eyes of God. In your eyes, do you feel like you did what you had to do?
I didn't have to do that. It was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I don't want to say yes, but my son told me I saved him.
Mitchelle's emphasis that Alex said she saved him shows that she may not think what she did was wrong despite understanding it's illegal.
She's trying to convince, this is what I was saying, she's trying to convince herself. She's delusional. This is why I said that about the shit that she just said earlier, like it was not an evil. I'm not evil, just an evil act.
On the other hand, it's possible.
No, bitch, you're evil. Because first of all, what I didn't know was she did it for days on days on days on days. So that literally means that you had time to stop. You're evil, bro. You're evil.
That she's lying that Alex told her that she saved him in order to justify what she did. By doing this, she can portray herself as Alex's hero.
Let me ask you this. Do you think your son has a problem?
No.
Because you said that throughout this interview.
Because this is what had me so scared.
You told me several times that your son doesn't have a problem.
He doesn't.
So why would you bring that up? Nobody's accusing him of having a problem.
Because that scares me. And how you read it back, it's like, yes, those are my words, but just to hear it like that, I don't want people to think, this is my biggest fear. When I'm gone, people are going to be unfair to me because y'all are thinking like, oh, he got to be crazy. Somebody done, his brother and his sister, he crazy. I don't want people to shun their kids away from him, for him to not have friends.
Her concern about what other people will think of Alex is delusional. These concerns are also extremely minor compared to the things she had him endure by killing his siblings and showing him their bodies.
And the thing about it is that Alex knew that Alex knew that when she did the shit that it was wrong. So when she said that you saved him, he basically meant like you just know what's going on. Like you're gonna make it stop. He just doesn't want it to happen anymore. That doesn't mean that he wants you to kill them. What the fuck? He just wants you to simply let it stop. He doesn't want to go through that shit anymore. He doesn't want to get bullied by his older siblings. That's all he wants. He doesn't want to get bullied. You know what I mean? So she going to extreme. You feel me?
Yeah, did school ever inquire about them, Stoney
like attendance, you know what I mean? And basically, I dropped them. And actually, I told them I was moving. So that's how I was able to drop them. So I went up to the school, and I was talking to the teachers, and I actually wanted to tell. I started going into it, and someone told me to stop. But I was telling one of the old teachers, hey, what had happened, and the security guard, but I didn't tell them that I did anything to them. I just, I'm dropping them. Try to see what we can do. I told them I was moving out of state with my brother.
Children are not legally allowed to drop out of school until between 16 and 18, depending on the state they live. In Michigan, it's 18.
Give me 1 minute. What I need you to do in the meantime, I need you to start reading these. These are the questions I asked you and the answer that you have answered. If I misquoted you, or if something... Stephen? Yeah, I get to that. That's how I thought it was, and that's why I asked you, and I have it down here. If there's something here that I misquoted you, let me know, and we'll fix it, and I'll initial it. Okay? Start reading that. I'm going to step out for a second. I'll be right back. Okay?
It's like a lot of other things.
Oh no, we're gonna talk about it. I just want you to start doing this while I don't want to give you all this. We're gonna get into all the things that you want to tell me about.
I mean, I guess the important stuff is also it.
Excuse me?
Important stuff is also, I guess, it is.
No, it's all important. We're gonna get to it. Okay, just give me 1 minute, and then we can continue this. Just give me 1 second, okay?
The same way you see if my aunt has...
Yep, I'm gonna go check on that right now.
Could they possibly still be here?
They could. Let me go find out, okay?
Are you allowed to tell... I know.
What do you want?
Just tell them I love them.
Yeah, sure.
My kids.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay? You need anything? Drink a little bit of water. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
I just can't hold this like this no more. It's like...
I understand. I'm going to come back so we can get it off your chest, okay?
The officer steps out and allows Mitchelle to read over her answers. This is done so that later she can't claim she misunderstood the questions, or the officer fabricated her answers and didn't write what she actually stated. Obviously, the tape can also confirm what was said.
Right. She probably didn't do the work.
Mitchelle is left alone, and as she's seeing her words, she is cursing and clearly getting nervous. It seems the reality of what she's done may be setting in. It could be that she goes in and out of moments of realization about what she did and what's happening around her. She asked the detective if she could tell her children that she loves them. So it could be that Mitchelle is actively realizing here that she likely won't see her 2 children again.
here 1 second. I'm sorry. Let me say this real quick.
Do you know if they were still here?
No, they're not here. They're talking to, I think the aunt.
My auntie.
Yeah.
When we first came, yeah, they said that my kids and the kids were here. My kids aren't with her.
Yeah, they're with her.
But they're just gone.
They're not where I could see them, I should say.
Oh, but they're still in
so
the
we'll
building.
find out before we're all done. I'm going to find out exactly where they're at, because right now they're talking to them, so it's kind of hard for me to say. But we'll find out exactly where they're at, so don't worry about it. Okay?
My kids are like this because they like seriously love me. If they ask you, is my mom, she was, one of them asked you, is my mom crying? But say no.
Okay.
Because it was just, I told him I wouldn't. He said, Mom, don't cry.
Okay. He said that today?
He's always said that, and he's telling me, you're always telling to be a big boy. So he said, you're a girl. And I was like, I'm trying to. I can't push the shit. Boy.
I'm going to be right back, okay?
She's going through a lot.
Mitchelle continues crying while the officer is away, which is a common occurrence when suspects are left alone. Often the reality of the situation sinks in only once they're left with their thoughts and begin to realize they're going to jail, or they realize the gravity of their actions.
I don't got a number.
I'll give it to you.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. How you feeling? Feel better to get it off your chest?
Not really.
Not really? So, you wanted to tell me some other stuff that was going on, okay?
Tell me, sister.
What was going on with you?
Like, you gotta imagine that happening to a baby.
Excuse me?
You gotta imagine that happening to him. I just try to...
Let me ask you, because you're home most of the time, right? So, when you're home, did you ever witness any unusual behavior between your kids?
No. Well, Stoney, before he was even here, Steven and Stoney didn't like each other. Well, I'm thinking little brother, big sister stuff, But she'll tell him, Steven, stop, sit down. You sit down and he'll punch her. And I'm like, stop it, I didn't know why. That's when I felt like I didn't save Steven. You get what I'm saying? Because when he said that to me, I'm like, he actually told you that? I'm not going to save him.
So let me ask you this. Your son came to you and gave you some complaints about some things that were going on, right? Yes.
No, he didn't come to me. He didn't come to me with Steven. He came to me with Stoney because they were sitting on the edge of my bed with like a little tiff. And it didn't start out with him talking about the little mean things.
Earlier,
and then it goes, and then we went into, he talking about the diaper. That's why I'm like.
Earlier you told me that told you that Steven did some things to him, and you confronted Steven, and Steven said, no, I didn't.
See, when you say come to you, I'm thinking you mean, because how it came to me, told me when I walked through the door. Yeah.
But at some point, he tells you something that Steven's doing to him.
Yes.
Okay. And you took it upon yourself to just go off of his word. You never tried to get any type of...
I did. I talked to Steven. We went up there and I talked to that boy.
Okay.
I talked to him.
And he admitted
this.
He admitted that he did these things.
After a while, yes. After a while, yes.
Okay.
But he denied that. He
denied it at first.
Denied it.
And so did Stoney. She also denied it. But after you assaulted him, right? Then he said, okay, I did it. After you assaulted him several times?
Yes, after a while.
Okay.
It wasn't
you severely assaulting him. Not just whipping him, you were severely assaulting him.
This was just me punching him before he finally said yes.
The officer is getting clarity here to potentially argue the fact that the children's confessions may not be accurate, as they deny that they had inappropriately touched Alex until Mitchelle violently assaulted them into confessing. This makes their confessions much less reliable, as they may have just said anything out of self-preservation. This is clearly a coerced confession. It doesn't mean it isn't true, but it's certainly unreliable.
The first time you ever heard of any of these complications between your kids was the first time with Steven.
I know they used to have the little sibling things.
But you never took it upon. You know how sometimes kids like to lie and make up things?
Yeah.
You never kind of put it to kind of observe to see who was saying what. You just took it upon yourself.
Or all the other stuff.
I mean, that's kind of a serious thing, for a kid to say, "Hey, this is what's going on." So you just went basically on his word.
I asked him.
Right.
I asked Stephen also. You get what I'm saying?
But he denied it. But after you repeatedly assaulted him, he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I did it." Do you believe that that's? Did you ever take your son to a trained physician to tell you, there's some signs of...
Not listening to me.
Well, I'm trying to...
They did that.
You did that?
They said they did that. Even...
Who did that?
They did that to him, Stoney and Stephen. And I'm sitting here, and I was even talking to Stoney, and I tell her to tell me things. It was like, "Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you that, Mom." It's like they did that.
And I'm not accusing you.
I didn't just go like,
but listen.
Mitchelle appears unable to recognize that Stephen may have only told her that he abused Alex because she was assaulting him. She feels like she got the truth out of him. In her mind, Alex is telling the truth. She already made the decision a long time ago that she believed him 100%. It would be too painful to let herself waver now, because that would mean she would have to face the fact that she killed her 2 older children for no reason. Obviously, this is assuming that Mitchelle didn't just fabricate the entire abuse story in an attempt to excuse and minimize her actions. It's important to keep in mind when analyzing this case that all 4 of these children were likely being abused in some way for a long time. When listening to the details of the case and watching Mitchelle's confession, it might be easy to assume that this was just a horrible incident. However, in these rare instances when parents kill their own children, it's almost always the case that the parent had been abusing the children for a long time, before the fatal incident. When Mitchelle was arrested, her 2 remaining children were interviewed. Both revealed to police that they were victims of physical and emotional abuse at home. Medical exams revealed that the living children had visible injuries such as a cut above the left eye of the 17-year-old and numerous scars on both children, including 25 scars and injuries on the 8-year-old's back. The children detailed some of the assaults they suffered at the hands of Mitchelle, such as being hit with a piece of wood, a hot curling iron, an extension cord, and burned with a clothing iron. According to them, Mitchelle refused to get any of the children medical treatment when they were hurt. Both children were turned over to Child Protective Services.
They did this to him every day, every night. It's like...
But what I'm trying to think is, if this was going on, like, where were you at all this time? Because you're a good parent. You're always home with your kids.
Right.
So how were these things going on for so long and you did not know? You got it. They're little kids. I can see if they're adults and it happened somewhere, but they're under your roof 24/7. They don't even go to school at some point. And there's all these things that you don't know nothing about. Were you ever a victim of any type of...
Yes, I was.
Okay.
And I used to always, this is what got me. I talked to my kids and my auntie and everybody. So I'm talking to them like so openly about this, and it's like, I felt like I had to.
Okay. What happened in your situation?
The first time, it was a woman. My mom used to leave us with any and everybody who would watch us. Anybody. So that was nothing. I think I was 5, 6, I don't know. But this was a woman, and she did that to me and my brother.
Although we can't confirm that Mitchelle is telling the truth about her history of abuse, her comment about her mother is an indication that Mitchelle may have some sort of traumatic past that still affects her emotionally. If it's true that Mitchelle was abused and her abuser was a woman, then it could explain the way that she talks about Stoney, her daughter. In Mitchelle's mind, Stoney was the cause of everything because she supposedly abused Stephen, who then went on to abuse Alex. Since there was no confirmed abuse occurring between the siblings, it's a possibility that Mitchelle may have fixated on Stoney because she is female, and Mitchelle still feels intense anger towards her female abuser. We don't have information about Mitchelle's mental health profile, but there are definitely some signs pointing to the possibility of her suffering from psychosis. In a psychotic episode, a person can become paranoid, even targeting their own children. Sometimes victims of abuse repeat the cycle and become abusers themselves, especially if they never got help or support after the abuse.
So let me ask you this, because you have 4 children. Okay. Did you have any favorites? Or
What
any?
You mean?
Did you prefer one more than the other? Or did you love them all the same, in your opinion?
I love them all the same because all of them had different personalities. It's just, those are my kids.
I'm just asking because some people say, oh, this is my favorite because he's the youngest, or he's my favorite, he's the oldest. But as far as you go, you love them all the same.
Yeah.
You didn't prefer one over the other.
What do you mean prefer? Like
one was closest to you, you know? You know, you always got the one that's kind of distant because maybe they want to be with their dad, or maybe they look like their dad, or for some reason they're just distant. And then you always got one that's closer, who always wants to be next to you.
We were all, that's all we did. That's why I don't understand.
You guys
spent a lot of time together.
How would you categorize your relationship between Stoney and you?
I guess just like the rest of the kids.
You love them all the same?
Yeah, it's a little different because you start to, I think, learn them, you know what I mean? And they change.
Right, they start changing, they start getting a little attitudes.
Yeah. No, attitudes, just period, changing. You're like, okay, well, you know how you just...
And that's what I'm asking. Did you have, maybe they were disobedient more than the others, so you like these guys more than the other guys?
Good kids.
They were all good kids?
That's like, hey, right, that's why everybody...
So is there any other reason other than what told you that made you do what you did?
That's it.
So if he would have never told you these things, Stoney and Stephen would still be here today?
If they had never...
Okay.
He didn't... It's not, he just told me.
How do you discipline your child? How do you discipline your children?
Not good. I have a problem with that too.
I beat on them niggas.
What do you mean by not good?
Just whooping them, and it's like, you know how what's appropriate for a child? It's not.
You whoop your children?
Yes.
To the point of abuse?
Yes.
Like
all of them?
Yes.
Like, bro, this is what I mean. Now, this is what I say. This is where it draws the line, all right? Now, I am an advocate for whooping your kids. I think you should whip your kids because, like, getting them through with just words is not going to work. I don't know. I don't care what you say. Oh, my kid's it. My kid. This is why your kid's going to be fucked up and my kid's going to be goated, all right? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, though, you don't whoop. This is how you whoop your kids. You whoop your kids to let them know that what they did was wrong, or, you know what I mean, whatever. You don't whoop your kids to the point of abuse. You don't abuse your kid. Like, that's common knowledge. You know what I mean? You just get whooping enough for them to start crying. You know what I'm saying? You see that they're truly sorry for something, and then that's it. That's it. You don't sit there and, like she said, she's whooping them niggas with irons and fucking, you know what I mean? That's too much, bro. Like, what the fuck is you doing? Fucking sticks and shit. She probably broke the bed off and you know what I mean? She punching her kids. Like, bro, she's literally abusing these niggas. Like, that's why they go to school fighting niggas, because they get it at home, bro. Did you ever heard about the story of a bully? A bully only goes to school and bully little kids because they're getting bullied at home. That's why. So they had to get their anger out. That's the same reason. So this is why I say it draws in line. I'm an advocate for whooping your kids, but just don't do it. They said she abused. She said, and then it makes it worse. She said she knows that it's abuse. She knows it.
So you pick that way as well?
Yes, and I can't explain it.
This shows that the tragic ending of her children's lives was the likely culmination of years of abuse. Abusive parents who end up seriously injuring or murdering their children will often engage in emotional, verbal, and physical abuse long before the final tragic incident. Mitchelle seems to understand logically that her behavior is wrong, yet she may be unable to control her anger. She appears to be suffering from significant issues relating to her own childhood trauma. Most people with trauma backgrounds do not kill other people, but of those individuals who kill another person, most of them do have a history of trauma in their own childhood. While her crimes against her children are horrific, her profile doesn't necessarily fit with that of a psychopath, and her behaviors are conflicting. On one hand, she's accepting responsibility for what she did and appears to be truthful during the interview, while on the other hand, she demonstrates a long history of deceitfulness and lying, which are psychopathic traits, as she kept the murders of her 2 children a secret for years. At times, she exhibited impulsive behavior and extreme aggressiveness. While she did admit that what she did was evil and wrong, she didn't express remorse or regret for the suffering she caused Stephen and Stoney.
Have you killed anyone else?
No.
What type of discipline you think you should get?
Those are my kids.
If you could do it all over again, would you change anything?
I'll say yes. The only reason I would say yes is because I would get to stay with them.
When you say them, do you mean all of them or just...
No, because regardless how I was thinking, if that happened, you mean the same situation happened, would I make the same choice?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because I would want to stay. You know?
But you don't really care about the other two.
No, I do. I would have made a different choice.
What choice would you have made?
I've tried to go somewhere. I said, he has never said that to me before. So for him to say that,
when did he say that to you?
This was after it happened.
Alex telling her that she saved him seems to be enough peace of mind for Mitchelle, almost like she's satisfied with what she did because she was able to prevent her son from suffering continued abuse.
If I brought in here, right, and I asked him pretty much the same question I'm asking you as far as the events that took place.
Ask him. You don't even have to have him in front of me. Ask him.
Is he going to tell me the same thing you're telling me?
He has to. You got to listen to him.
Has he ever lied to you?
Yes.
About what?
Little things.
Like what?
He'll lie and then first let me go on to something else. The thing was, in the lying, I don't like that.
Well, he does lie.
Yeah.
And you don't like it?
No. So that's like the only reason I ever.
Do you know the difference between a lie and the truth?
Yes, definitely. You mean, does he know the difference?
No, I'm asking you. Do you know the difference between a lie and the truth?
Yes.
Okay. So, and you're familiar with, like, a white lie versus...
There's no such thing.
Okay, a lie is a lie.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you familiar with the difference between a chronic liar or somebody that... A habitual liar?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with somebody that habitually lies or somebody that lies, for example, if I say, hey, do you like this dress on me? And you're like, no, but you don't want to make me feel bad. So you're like, oh, that's nice, but you're really lying because it looks terrible.
Right.
Right? You're familiar with the difference.
That's so you won't hurt, somebody's feelings,
like a small lie versus somebody that lies all the time.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
In your opinion, how would you categorize your son?
None of those.
None of those? He never lies?
No, he does, but I wouldn't. Excuse me. Like, just little things.
The officer is getting it on record that Mitchelle knows right from wrong, and a white lie from a lie. This again will make it harder for her to make an insanity defense.
Ms. Blair, what's on your mind?
It's like so much that happened to you. It's like you gotta go the fuck up and you had much mother. Your brother and sister see this to you, and I just want to make sure they are. And he's the littlest one. I want to make sure be okay. That me up when I was younger. But I know, all I know is this. I did something about it. Even though it was tough, I just want to know, like, you are important. Like, you do matter. That shit was happening to you all that time, and you didn't know, and I'm sorry, and I'm like, no matter what, they can kill me in there, and that's the part. This is what I do know. And I'm already told the kids about dying there, it doesn't matter. But I won't, I think gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You consider yourself
so sweet. You consider yourself a tough mom? I mean, you're tough, right? You're gonna.
It's over the.
Okay.
It's like tough, but not. And it's like I'm just tired of this. He too good, just not so they both are just to let this. I used to be a really good kid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I tell my daughter all the time, I was just like you. Like how she is, she confident, she quiet, people mess with her stuff. Okay, it's like, so let them talk. Mm-hmm. I'm the one like, that. They mess with you, I'm, about to go beat the ass. Don't mess with them. It's like, I was like that and it's gone. It's nobody's fault, it's gone. But I was like that and I don't want them to, I just know when I told my mom, she said, what the do you want me to do about it? It's over with now.
This means that it's likely that Michelle's mother never validated her feelings about the trauma she experienced, which makes the emotional damage even worse. It's like trauma on top of trauma when a parent doesn't validate the child's feelings, even if it's been decades since the abuse occurred. Mitchelle was likely never able to process her emotional pain, and it's very likely that this led to her maladaptive behavior.
And then also you gotta think this too, that when this all happened and stuff like that, what am I about to say? So basically when all this happened and shit like that, the mother, like you said, she never even had no type of guidance or whatever, and she used to get, whatever, I don't know if it's, I can't say the word, but abused. So she used to get abused. So then she comes along and her kids go through the same thing, so it makes her worse. And you don't know her backstory. Like, she could have also been abused, and then now she growing up. Now she got 4 kids. She's broke. She ain't even got no money like that. She getting food stamp. You know what I mean? Her life is, you know what I mean? Like, you feel me? So she see that with the kids. So she like, damn, like, this is what I wanted to prevent. I wanted to prevent this the most. This is the most important I wanted to prevent because I went through this. So she kind of just like snapped. You know what I mean? So, but still don't give her no justification to do what the fuck she did. But
years in adulthood, such as her uncontrolled anger, inability to control her emotions, and abusive parenting that turned fatal. Mitchelle likely sees herself as a better mother than her own because she did something when Alex told her he was being abused. It's important to keep in mind that many adults struggle with histories of childhood abuse. This doesn't mean that if they relive the trauma somehow as adults that they will murder anyone like Mitchelle did.
That's all I know. I told him, when you get older, anybody, girls, men, anybody try to make you feel like you ain't do you see what I did for you? That's not that's because
I'm gonna find out once you finish reading. I'm gonna find out where they're at, and that way you can, feel secure that they're in good hands. Okay. Okay, but I need you to look at that statement to make sure that everything's accurate. Okay. And then we'll go from there.
I already know what I sound like. I know up.
No, nobody
knows myself. The normal part of me, I can see myself talking right now. I can't. You're not literally, but if that was me, I totally understand what it looks like, and I've been.
Ms. Blair, nobody's judging you here. Okay, something happened, and you felt you did what you had to do.
No matter what or what everybody think, I hope you don't take that when he gets older and go crazy with it. I just want him to, and I would try to explain to him, you don't hurt people. He told me, God's not happy. He doesn't like stuff like that. I said, guys, I know. And I told him I'm going to hell. Period. That's what happens. Sometimes you can't lie. You can't fight with people. If people call you stupid, if people call you this, it's like I'm trying to cover bases with them. You just let it go because you was important. You're important. It's like something like that happens, it's like you don't have to feel like he was crushed or like nobody's gonna give a about him.
Mitchelle signs the notes taken by the officer, swearing that they're accurate. This is less necessary than it was years ago, since almost all interrogations are videotaped, but it's done here to avoid retractions or allegations that the officer lied or misconstrued the suspect's words in her notes.
Can you give me 1 second, okay?
Following the interrogation, Mitchelle was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. An examination of the bodies revealed that 9-year-old Stephen died from blunt force trauma and what was described as thermal injuries in 2012, while 13-year-old Stoney was killed in 2013 from blunt trauma to the head. Mitchelle kept both of the bodies in the deep freezer in the family's living room for around 3 years until their discovery when she was evicted. When she went to trial, Mitchelle told the judge that she still felt no remorse and even doubled down by stating that she would have killed Stephen and Stoney again, referring to them as demons. Still, prosecution made it clear that they didn't find any evidence that Alex had been assaulted by his siblings. In fact, there's no evidence that the alleged victim or his older sister ever corroborated the story Mitchelle told investigators. While she was in prison during her trial, one of the other prisoners who had been housed in the same block as Mitchelle came forward with a shocking claim. They alleged that, among other things, Mitchelle told them that she'd made up the entire story that her son had been assaulted by his siblings so that people will have sympathy for her. This person also stated that Mitchelle told them that she threatened her oldest daughter into helping with the deaths of her siblings. According to court documents, it was reported that her eldest daughter alleged Mitchelle forced her to carry Stoney's body and put it in the freezer. Neither of these claims have ever been proven, nor was anyone besides Mitchelle charged with any crimes connected to this case. In less than 4 months, Mitchelle was charged, convicted, and sentenced. In June of 2015, Mitchelle pled guilty and said she would have accepted the death penalty if it had been an option in Michigan. Instead, she was given a life sentence without the possibility of parole. This leaves the question of what happened to Mitchelle's remaining 2 children after her arrest. Well, in 2017, it was reported in the news that her oldest, then 19, was graduating high school and had plans to go to college, while her youngest son had been adopted and was thriving in school. Though the case seems like it ends here, it doesn't quite. Since her incarceration, Mitchelle has continued to find herself in trouble with the authorities. In fact, it's been reported that she's been involved in 49 incidents since she was imprisoned. In one confrontation, Mitchelle allegedly put her
Bro, oh my god, get her out of here.
urine and feces into a
Does you put urine and feces into Pringles can and threw it in the face of corrections?
Pringles can and threw it in the face of a corrections officer.
Bro.
On another occasion, while Mitchelle was being escorted down a hallway, she started yelling at another prisoner. When a correction officer intervened, Mitchelle punched them in the stomach and arm. She was sentenced on charges for both incidents and added 38 months to 5 years to her sentence.
She's stupid as hell. She ain't leaving. Look, bro, she ain't getting out that bitch until both